It rarely happens in the opposite direction. Critics aren't supposed to like blockbusters more than the general public. We're supposed to be snooty snoots, with our noses turned up in the air at all of this populist garbage as we head into the theater for the latest from Toyota Apichatpon. We're ethical. And even if this sort of divide happens occasionally, it's certainly not supposed to happen with Star Wars, except it has. Despite a 93% fresh critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes, The Last Jedi, the latest Star Wars film, has the lowest audience score of any Star Wars movie on Rotten Tomatoes. As of Monday, it's at 56%. Yes, that's lower than any of the prequels. What the hell is going on here? Beware, though. To explain why, I'll have to engage in some plot spoilers. The problem with using any online voting mechanism to gauge opinions on a movie, or anything, really, is such systems are really easy to game. The 56% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and the 4.9 average user score out of 10 on Metacritic, where critics gave the film an 86 out of 100, are certainly shocking to behold. There's also an ineffectual online petition you can sign. But flip over to IMDb and you'll see Last Jedi has a 7.9 user score. That would lag behind critic scores, but it's not far off the 8.1 IMDb user score for The Force Awakens. Needless to say, that didn't happen. The fan-critic divide seems stark, almost right away. I should probably note here that Last Jedi writer-director Rian Johnson has a more or less cordial relationship with many critics since he uses social media in a more open and friendly way than most major filmmakers. I don't really think that colored critics' opinions. I love the movie and have never interacted with the guy, but I also can't pretend it's an impossible notion to think about. Almost immediately on Friday morning, after Thursday night preview screenings, The Last Jedi was being dissected by Star Wars fans for its purported failings. And it's important to note here that those purported failings are going to differ wildly from person to person. With a movie as big as this one, which sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 million tickets in the US and Canada alone, the response is always going to be all over the place, and finding one simple answer as to why it's so divisive is impossible. There is undoubtedly somebody out there who's mad at the movie for not having enough porgs, just as there's somebody mad at it for having too many porgs. But saying there's a lot of cultural anxiety around this particular generational handoff is an understatement. And when you consider that Star Wars fandom has long been presided over by white guys, it's natural this would lead to angry policing over what Star Wars is and isn't. And that policing can be ugly and lead to toxic fandoms in which people who aren't white men don't feel comfortable. But while there's a lot of this going around, and it's tempting to write off the backlash as wholly defined by anti-progressivism, that also wouldn't be accurate. There are plenty of other complaints and criticisms from fans that range from nitpicky to more concerning.